Hello students and viewers, this is Yeteta Morogoro, Tanzania. My name is teacher Ramadan Kidegesho, teaching chemistry. Welcome to the lesson of today. Today I will teach the topic which is called extraction of metal. This is one of the Form 3 topic. This topic include the following subtopics. The first one is occurrence and location of metal in Tanzania. The second is the properties of metal. The third one is extraction of metal by electrolytic reduction. The fourth one is extraction of metal by chemical reduction. And the last one is environmental consideration. So these are subtopics of this topic of extraction of metal. Starting with occurrence and location of metals in Tanzania. Students, what is metal? Can you define metal? Good. Metal by definition you can say is an element that readily loses electron to form positive ion. Metal is an element that readily loses electrons to form positive ions. Metals exist in nature either as free elements or in compound form. So the metal exists either in free element, as a free element, or in compound form. Some of metals that exist as free elements including the following. The first one is silver, gold, platinum. So these are some metals which exist as free elements. So these metals are Leydig reactive. These metals are Leydig reactive. In compound, metal exists as oxides, carbonates, chloride, sulfates, or complex compound which combine in two or more simple compounds. Metal which are moderate reactive are found in the form of oxide and sulfide. For example, aluminium, zinc, iron, tin. So their sulfide oxides are moderate reactive. So these are examples of moderate reactive metal. Most reactive metal are extracted from the sea. For example, calcium is extracted from the limestone. From limestone, chalk, or marble in the sea. So these are most reactive metal. Sodium is extracted from the sodium chloride, and so on. So these are some examples of most reactive metal. So we have most reactive metal, we have moderate reactive metal, and also we have Leydig reactive metal. Metallic compounds occur in the Earth's crust together with some impurities referred to as minerals. Metallic compounds which occur in the Earth's crust together with some impurities are referred to as minerals. The minerals that contain the large proportion of metallic compounds are called ore. So the minerals that contain the large proportion of metallic compound are called ore. Now, location of metals in Tanzania. Location of metals in Tanzania. Tanzania has many minerals which are extracted from various areas. The major metal ores include gold, salt, lead, mica, limestone, and phosphate. So these are some major metals ores. The following table shows the metals and the location in which these metals are extracted in Tanzania. So here we have a table. So these are metals and this is a location. Copper is extracted in Morogoro. Tin extracted at Misenyi, Kagera. Phosphate is extracted at Minyingu in Manyara, Lake Natron. Uranium is extracted at Namtumbo, Ruvuma. Also, iron hematite ore is extracted at Ludewa, which is in Njombe, Chunya, which is in Mbeya, Nyarugusu, which is in Geita, Nyamongo, which is in Mara. Also, gold is extracted at Bariadi and Buzwagi, which is in Shinyanga. So these are locations where metals are extracted in Tanzania. Now, properties of metals. Properties of metals. In properties of metals, we have physical properties and chemical properties. Now, let us start with the physical properties of metal. Students, can you mention the physical properties of metal? Good. We have a plenty of physical properties of metals. Some including the following. The first one, they are ductile. I mean, they can stretch into thin wire. The metal can be stretched into thin wire. That's the meaning of the word ductile. Another, they are malleable. I mean that they can be hammered into thin sheet without breaking. Can be hammered into thin sheet without breaking. Another physical properties of metal, they are good conductor of heat and electricity. I mean, they allow heat and electricity to pass through. Another, they are sonority, or they are sonorous. I mean, they produce sound when heated. So these are some physical properties of metals. Now, let us discuss the chemical properties of metals. The first one, some metal, for example, sodium, magnesium, calcium, potassium, react with the cold water to give metal hydroxide and hydrogen gas. Some metals react with the cold water to form metal hydroxide and hydrogen gas. For example, magnesium react with the cold water, I mean water in liquid form. The product here is magnesium hydroxide and the hydrogen gas. The second chemical property, some metals react with steam to give metal oxide and hydrogen gas. In case they react in steam, the product here is metal oxide and hydrogen gas. For example, magnesium also. If magnesium reacts with steam, water vapor, the product is magnesium oxide and the hydrogen gas. Another, some metals, including zinc, iron, copper, these react with dilute acid, maybe dilute hydrochloric acid or dilute sulfuric acid to form salt and hydrogen gas. For example, zinc can react with hydrochloric acid. The product is zinc chloride and hydrogen gas. So this is the reaction between metal and the dilute acid. Now, extraction of metals. Extraction of metals. What is extraction of metal? Students, can you tell me the meaning of the word extraction of metal? Can you give me the briefly meaning of extraction of metal? Few seconds. Good. Extraction of metal, by definition, you can say, is the process whereby metals are obtained from their ores. Is the process whereby metals are obtained from their ores. Now, what is ore? We have seen here the extraction of metal. I mean the metals are obtained from their ores. So what is ore, students? Can you tell me the meaning of the word ore? Good. By definition, you can say ore is the naturally occurring solid material from which the metal can be extracted. Naturally occurring solid materials from which a metal can be extracted. So this is the ore. The ore are reduced to respective metals by the process called extraction of metal. So this ore are reduced to respective metals by the process which is called the extraction of metal. So the extraction of metal is the process of reducing ore in order to obtain a certain metal. Now, method of extraction of metal. How many methods are used to extract metals from their ores, students? Can you tell us the method which are used to extract metals from their ores? Very good. The extraction of metal can be done by two methods. Which are those? The first one is electrolytic reduction, and the second one is chemical reduction. So you have electrolytic reduction and you have chemical reduction. These are two methods which are used to extract the metal from their ores. Below is the table which shows some metals and their method of extraction. Here we have a table. This is a table. So this table shows metals, ore, and extraction method. So let us start with the very reactive metals. Very reactive metals. Example of very reactive metals including potassium, sodium, magnesium, aluminium, and others. So the ore of potassium is the potassium. Potassium is the ore of potassium. But the sodium, we call it the rock salt, which is sodium chloride. So sodium chloride is called the rocky salt. So this is the ore of sodium. Another is magnesium. The ore of magnesium is magnesium chloride. The ore of aluminium is bauxite. So all these are extracted by the method which is called electrolysis. All these are extracted by method which is called electrolysis. Now, let us go to the moderate reactive metal. Example of moderate reactive metal including zinc, tin, iron, lead, and copper. These are some examples of moderate reactive metal. Now, the ore in which these are found, these metals are found, zinc is a zinc blender. Zinc, the ore of zinc is zinc blender. Tin and iron, the ore of tin and iron is hematite, magnetite. All these are ore of tin and iron. Lead is galena. Copper is copper pyrite. So all these are extracted by the method which is called chemical reduction. All these are extracted by the method which is called chemical reduction. The last is the last reactive metal. For example, gold. So this gold, this last reactive metal is free and combined element. free and combined elements. There is no the ore of least reactive metal. For example, gold, I don't know, silver, and the others. Platinum, there is no the ore which are of these metals. For that case, these metals are extracted, are purified by electrolysis. After obtaining them, they purify them by electrolysis. We remove the impurities which are contaminated with these metals. Now, stages of extraction of metal. Students, how many stages are used to extract metals? Can you mention the stages which are used to extract metals? Very good. Stages that are involved in extraction of metal from their ores, including the following. The first one is concentration of ore. The second one is extraction of the metal. And the last one is purification or refining of the metal. We have 3 stages. So concentration of ore, extraction of metal, and purification or refining of metal. So these are stages which are involved during the extraction of metals. Now, I'm going to explain one after another, starting with the concentration of ore. This is done after mining the ore in order to remove impurities present in the metal ore. So this concentration of ore, the purpose behind it is to remove impurities present in the metal ore. The method used in concentration of the ore includes the following. We have methods here. We have methods which are used in concentration of ore. Which are those? The first one is dressing. The second one is calcination. And the last one is roasting. We have 3 methods which are used in this stage of concentration of ore: dressing, calcination, and roasting. Now, dressing. This is the method used to remove impurities from the ore without decomposing any component within the ore. We remove impurities without decomposing any component within the ore. So the main impurities which are removed in this dressing method include the following. The first one is sand, another is limestone, another is quartz, another is silicate. So these are impurities which are removed during the dressing method. So these impurities are removed by hand picking. We remove them by hand picking, by blowing, by filtration process, and the decantation. So these hand picking, blowing, filtration process, and decantation, we use these methods to remove these impurities in dressing method. So dressing method is also known as concentration. Another name of dressing method, another name of dressing is concentration. Now, calcination. This is the process in which the ore is heated in the absence of air below its melting point to expel water from hydrated oxide or to expel carbon dioxide from carbonates. So the purpose of calcination is to expel water from the hydrated oxide or to expel carbon dioxide from carbonate. So the ore is heated in the absence of air. In the absence of air. In calcination, small molecules such as water, carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide are usually expelled from the ore. These are small molecules which are expelled from the ore. Water, carbon dioxide, or sulfur dioxide. It depends with the kind of ore which you calcinate. Kind of ore which you calcinate. If it's containing hydrated ore, we expel water. If it is carbonated, we expel carbon dioxide. Also, if it's contain maybe sulfate, we expel sulfur dioxide. Now, roasting. This describes the process in which the ore is heated in the presence of air at the temperature below the melting point of the ore. So in this method here, the ore is heated in the presence of air, but the temperature should be below the melting point of the ore. So the ore may be heated alone or mixed with other chemicals. We can heat the metal alone, or we can mix with other chemicals. So roasting usually involves the greater chemical change such as oxidation or chlorination. So this one in roasting, we can form maybe oxide or chloride because it's involved the greater chemical change of such as oxidation or chlorination. It depends with the kind of ore. So both calcination and roasting takes place in the furnace because it's involved the heat. We're going to heat the ore. That's why roasting and the calcination takes place in furnace. Now, after explaining the first stage, which is the concentration of ore, now let us go to the second stage, which is called the extraction of metal. Extraction of metal. So the method used in extracting metals from the ores include reduction by heating in the air, auto-reduction. Reduction by carbon, we call it smelting. Reduction by electrolysis, reduction by precipitation, and amalgam. So these are some methods which are used to extract the metal from the ores. Reduction by heating in the air, auto-reduction. So there are some ores which are reduced by auto-reduction. We reduce them by heating in the air. Another, we reduce them by carbon, smelting. Another, we reduce them by electrolytic method. And another, we reduce them by what? By precipitation. Another, we reduce by amalgam. So the choice of the reducing method are used for the given metal or depend on the position of metal in electrochemical series. So the choice of reducing method depend on the position of metal in electrochemical series. As we have seen already, for the most reactive metal, moderate reactive metal, and least reactive metal, which method you select for extracting a certain metal. For most reactive metal, we use electrolysis method. For moderate reactive metal, if you remember, we use reduction by carbon smelting. Reduction by carbon, we call chemical reduction. And the least reactive metal, because it is uncombined. It is a free uncombined atom or free uncombined metal. We purify that metal which we obtain. Now, table below shows the method used in reducing different metal ores. We have a table here. So we have a method and the metal ore. Reduction by carbon, which is a smelting, we call it chemical reduction. Reduction by carbon, you can say chemical reduction. So oxides, the metal ore, oxide of less electropositive metals such as lead, zinc, iron, tin, and copper. So the oxide of this one are extracted by the method which is called chemical reduction or reduction by carbon, smelting. Another reduction by heating in air, oxide or sulfide of mercury, copper, and lead. Mercury, so the oxide or sulfide of mercury, copper, or lead are extracted by heating in air. We call it auto reduction. We use the auto reduction to extract this ore, the metal from these ores. Another reduction by electrolysis. Oxides, hydroxide, or chloride of high reactive metal, most reactive metals such as sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminum are extracted by this method, which is called reduction by electrolysis. Amalgamation, less reactive metal like silver, gold, which are free and combined elements, are extracted by this method of amalgamation. Now, these are methods, and these are some ores and their method of extraction. After discussing this, now let us go to the last method, our last stage of extraction of metal, which is called the purification or refining of metal. Purification or refining of metal. The metal obtained through the reduction process are generally impure. The metal which is obtained through the reduction process are generally impure. They are called crude metal. Their name is called crude metal. So, crude metal contain impurities such as other metals, non-metals like silicon and phosphorus, oxides, sulfides, oxide of metal, sulfide of metal, and the other impurities. So these crude metals contain a lot of impurities. The method used to purify the crude oil, the crude metals are, here we have some methods which are used to purify the crude metals. The first one is distillation. The second one is oxidation. And the last one is electro-refining. So distillation, oxidation, and electro-refining, these are methods which are used to purify crude metal. Now I'm going to discuss, to explain one after another, starting with the distillation. Okay. In distillation method, the metal is heated in furnace until the pure metal evaporates, leaving behind the impurities. So in this distillation, the metal is heated in furnace until the pure metal evaporates, leaving behind the impurities. And here we expect such kind of crude metal should have, that metal should have, its boiling point should be low than the boiling point of impurities. We can use this distillation method in case the boiling point of the metal is lower than the boiling point of impurities. So the vapor is then collected and condensed in a separate chamber. the vapor which is obtained the vapor of metal which is obtained is then collected and condensed in a separate chamber. Now, the next method is oxidation. The next method is oxidation. In this method, the molten crude metal is exposed in air to air in a furnace. The molten crude metal is exposed to air in a furnace. So the impurities are oxidized and escape as vapor in form of scum over the molten metal. So the scum is then removed by skimming. So the impurities are oxidized and escape as vapor or form a scum. I mean, those impurities form a scum over the molten metal. So that those scum we remove by skimming. We remove them by what? By skimming. Now, so the method is only when the impurities have a greater affinity for oxygen than metal. So this method is only used in case impurities have high affinity for oxygen than metal. Another is electro-refining. Another method is electro-refining. Most metals are purified by electrolysis. Most metals are purified by electrolysis. So the crude metal is molded into blocks and made the anode of the electrolytic cell. Now the crude metal is made the anode of the electrolytic cell. So the cathode is made up of the thin plate of the pure metal. So we have a cathode and we have the anode. We have the cathode and we have the anode. The cathode is the thin plate of pure metal, while the anode is the crude metal. So when the current is passed, the anode dissolve and the pure metal, the anode dissolve and the pure metal from the anode is deposited to the cathode. Is deposited to the cathode in case you allow the electricity to pass through the electrolytic cell. So the anode dissolve, and the pure metal from the anode is deposited to the cathode. Is deposited to the cathode. So the soluble impurities dissolve in electrolytes, while the insoluble impurities settle down below the anode as the anode mud or slag. Anode mud or slag. So this is the electro-refining. Point to remember here is that the anode, the crude metal is used as anode, while the pure metal is used as a cathode. So as the current pass through, those metals from the anode will dissolve, and the metals from the anode will transfer to the cathode. To the cathode, and for that case, and the impurities will remain in electrolyte. Some will dissolve, those which are soluble in water. In electrolyte will dissolve, while those which are insoluble will settle down below the anode as the anode mud or slag. So this is the electro-refining. Now let us go to the next subtopic, which is called the extraction of metal by electrolytic reduction. Extraction of metal by electrolytic reduction. Now, extraction of sodium. As I said that the high reactive metal, the most reactive metal are extracted by electrolytic reduction, Now let us start by looking the extraction of sodium. Extraction of sodium. Sodium is extracted by electrolytic reduction of the molten rock salt. So the ore in which the sodium is extracted from is called rock salt. So this rock salt is sodium chloride. Rock salt is sodium chloride. So the electrolysis is mainly carried out in the Downs cell. So Downs cell, this one is the cell in which the electrolysis of sodium chloride of rock salt is carried out. So the cell has steel cathode and the graphite anode. We have a steel cathode. In cell there is steel cathode and the graphite anode. So calcium chloride is added in order to lower the melting point of sodium chloride from 774 degrees centigrade to about 600 degrees centigrade. So the function of calcium chloride, another chemical which is called calcium chloride, is mixed with the sodium chloride, is added to the Downs cell. So the function of this calcium chloride is to lower the melting point of sodium chloride from 774 degrees centigrade to about 600 degrees centigrade. So the composition of electrolyte is 40% sodium chloride and 60% calcium chloride. So sodium chloride is only 40% and the calcium chloride is 60%. Now Downs cell. This is the Downs cell. The Downs cell is look like this one here. As you see here in the Downs cell, we have the graphite anode. This one is the graphite anode. We have a cathode. This one here is the cathode, is steel cathode or iron cathode. You can call it steel cathode or iron cathode. This one and this one here. Also, here in this cathode, there is wire gauze. There is wire gauze. This is called wire gauze. This one, which is separating the cathode from anode. It is in both the anode, both cathode. This cathode and this cathode, there is the wire gauze. So, once the electrolysis is done, before electrolysis, the fresh salt of sodium chloride and calcium chloride is fed into the Downs cell through this way. We use this way to feed the fresh salt of sodium chloride and calcium chloride in Downs cell. So during the electrolysis process, the chlorine will move to the anode, while sodium will move to the cathode. The sodium will move to the cathode. After liberation of chlorine gas, the chlorine gas will pass through this way. In this pipe here, the chlorine gas will pass out. And the sodium will be collected in this reservoir tank. We have a reservoir tank here. So in this reservoir tank, the sodium will be collected. The sodium will be collected. So this is how the electrolysis is done in Downs cell. Yes. So the chloride ion moves to the anode, while sodium ion moves to the cathode. As I said, chloride ion will move to the anode and liberate chlorine gas, while sodium ion will move to the cathode and liberate the sodium metal. So now let us look at the reaction taking place at the electrodes as shown below. So the reaction takes place at the electrodes as shown below. The first anode reaction, because the chlorine chloride ion will move to the anode, so the anode reaction will be like this one. The chlorine here will lose an electron and form chlorine gas. The chlorine will lose the electron and form chlorine gas. So what is formed in anode is a chlorine gas. But the cathode reaction here, sodium ion will gain electron and form sodium metal. So here we have a sodium metal at the cathode, and we have a chlorine gas at the anode as a product. So the chlorine gas is liberated at anode, while sodium metal is produced at the cathode. So at the cathode, the sodium metal will be produced, while at the anode, the chlorine gas will be liberated. So the downcell wire gauze or diaphragm around the anode prevent the sodium and the chlorine to come into contact and react. So the function of this wire gauze I say that there is a wire gauze here which is called diaphragm. In another name you can call it diaphragm, the wire gauze. The function of this one is to prevent the sodium which is produced from the cathode and the chlorine which is formed at the anode to come into contact and react. Because once they come into contact, they will react. So we use the wire gauze in order to prevent them to react. Now, so the sodium metal is collected upwardly in down cell due to its low density and make it to float over the mixture, which make it to float over the mixture. So we collect the sodium metal. The sodium metal is collected upwardly, the down cell, due to its low density, because the density of sodium metal is low. So in that case, we collect it upwardly. Once we collect it down, we'll float it over the mixture. We'll float over the mixture and undergo another reactions. Now, after discussing the extraction of sodium from its ore, we have seen the down cell there. And also what we have seen there, the ore, which is a sodium chloride, is mixed with a calcium chloride. And also have seen the function of calcium chloride is to lower the melting point of sodium chloride, is to lower the melting point of calcium chloride. Also another thing which we have discussed is down cell. We have seen the down cell and how the reaction takes place in the down cell. In the down cell, if you have seen there, there is the anode there, in which the chloride ion are moved to the anode and form chlorine gas, and also there is the cathode, in which sodium ion will move to the cathode and produce sodium metal. Also, we have seen the wire gauze, and we have seen the function of wire gauze is to prevent the chlorine produced, the chlorine liberated, and the sodium metal produced to come into contact and react. So this is how the sodium metal is extracted from its ore by down cell. Now let us go to another metal which is called aluminium. How to extract the aluminium? Extraction of aluminium. So aluminium occurs in the form of oxide, fluoride, silicate, and sulfate. Aluminium occurs in the form of oxide, fluoride, silicate, and sulfate. The following are the main ores of aluminium. The the main ore is bauxite. The first is bauxite, which is called hydrated aluminium oxide. So hydrated aluminium oxide, this one is bauxite. Another is cryolite. This is sodium aluminum fluoride. Cryolite is another. Another is feldspar. As you see here, this is the formula of feldspar: potassium aluminium silicate. Potassium aluminium silicate. Another is kaolin. As you see here, aluminium aluminium silicate dihydrated. So this is the kaolin. So these are main ores of aluminium. We have a bauxite, we have a cryolite, we have a feldspar, and we have a kaolin. Now, bauxite and cryolite are the chief ore from which aluminium is extracted. This bauxite and cryolite are the chief ores from which aluminium is extracted. Aluminium is extracted from bauxite by electrolysis. Now, aluminium is extracted from bauxite by electrolysis. Also here we use the method of electrolysis because aluminium is the high reactive metal. So the stages involved in extraction of aluminium including the following. The first one, purification of bauxite. The second one is the electrolytic reduction of alumina. Alumina means aluminium oxide. So electrolytic reduction of alumina. And the last one, refining of crude aluminium. So these are the stages which are involved in extraction of aluminium. Now, purification of bauxite. How purification of bauxite occurs. This involves the change of bauxite to alumina. When we say purification of bauxite, it's the change of bauxite to alumina. Alumina means aluminium oxide, because what are we going what the electrolyte is used in the extraction of aluminium is aluminium oxide. So this purification of bauxite involves the change of bauxite to alumina. So bauxite contains oxides of iron and silicon as impurities. Bauxite contains impurities which are iron oxide and silicon oxide. So these are impurities which are in bauxite, and the purpose of purification is to remove these impurities. So these impurities are removed by Hall process. We use a Hall process to remove these impurities, where the powdered ore is heated with sodium carbonate. We take the heated ore, the powdered ore, then we heat it with the sodium carbonate. And then, so aluminium oxide dissolves to form sodium aluminate, as shown in the reaction below. Once you heat it, what is formed? So this is a bauxite, which is a dihydrated, which is the aluminium oxide dihydrated bauxite. React with the sodium carbonate. The product which is formed here is sodium aluminate. Another is water, and another is carbon dioxide. Once you heat the bauxite with the sodium carbonate, the product is sodium aluminate, water, and the carbon dioxide. That's how the heating of bauxite occurs in the presence of sodium carbonate. Now, the molten sodium aluminate is removed with the water, while insoluble iron and the silicon oxide remain behind as a residue. So after this process, the molten sodium aluminate is removed with water. As you have seen there, the water is produced, the sodium aluminate is produced, and another is carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide will escape as vapor. The carbon dioxide will escape as vapor, but this molten sodium aluminate will be removed with the water, while the insoluble iron and the silicon oxide remain behind as a residue. So the molten mass is then heated, and the stream of carbon dioxide is allowed to pass through the mixture, resulting to the precipitation of aluminium hydroxide. Another reaction. So the molten mass, the molten aluminum, sodium aluminate, the molten sodium aluminate is then heated, and the stream of carbon dioxide is allowed to pass through. So the mixture resulting to the precipitate of aluminium hydroxide. And the reaction is like this one. This one is a sodium aluminate, and this is water. Mixture of sodium aluminate and mixture of water, and this is carbon dioxide. Once we allow the stream of carbon dioxide to pass through, what is formed there is the aluminium hydroxide, which is a precipitate, aluminium hydroxide, which is a precipitate, and the sodium carbonate, which is in aqueous form, So aluminium hydroxide, which is formed there, is filtered off, washed, dried, then calcinated at 1,500 degrees centigrade to give alumina. This is how the alumina is formed, and the reaction will be like this one. Aluminium hydroxide, which is a precipitate, after washing, after dry, then it is calcinated at the temperature of 1,500 degrees centigrade. At the end, what is formed there is aluminium oxide, which is called alumina, and water. Aluminium oxide and the water. So this first method of purification of bauxite this involves the change of bauxite to alumina. So we change the bauxite, and here we obtain the alumina or aluminium oxide. So we go to the next method, which is called electrolysis of alumina or electrolysis of aluminium oxide. So the electrolysis of alumina is carried out in the presence of cryolite. The electrolysis of alumina is carried out in the presence of cryolite. Cryolite is sodium aluminium hexafluoride. This is cryolite. So cryolite, the function of cryolite is to improve the electrical conductivity of alumina and lower the melting point of alumina. So it has two functions. The first function is to improve the electrical conductivity of alumina, and the second one is to lower the melting point of alumina. So the electrolytic cell for the electrolysis of aluminium consists of the iron bath lined with graphite carbon, which act as a cathode. Electrolytic cell for the electrolysis of alumina consists of iron bath lined with graphite carbon, which acts as a cathode. So we have a cathode, and also we have the anode. So the anode is the number of carbon rod attached to the copper clamp, which is suspended in the fused mass. Or suspended in the alumina. So the anode, this one is attached to the copper clamp and is suspended above the alumina. But this graphite carbon, which is acting as the cathode, it is found at the bottom of the. This is the diagram which showed the electrolytic cell for the extraction of aluminium. Electrolytic cell for the extraction of aluminium. As I said, that in this electrolytic cell, there is the iron sheet in which the cathode, this is the line sheet, this which is outside here is the line sheet. And inside line sheet, it is lining with the cathode. So this one here is the cathode. Also, this one here is the copper clamp in which the anode is attached to this copper clamp. And this anode here is what the anode here is suspended in the molten alumina and the cryolite. The mixture of molten alumina and the cryolite. So the mixture of molten alumina and the cryolite is this one here. So this one here is the cathode. This one here is the anode, and the copper clamp with this one in which the anode is attached. So during extraction process, the aluminium ion will move to the cathode and the molten aluminium will be produced. But the oxygen gas from the alumina will move to the anode, and the oxygen gas, the oxygen ion will move to the anode, and the oxygen gas will be liberated. So this is how the process occurs. And this one here is the diagram, the electrolytic cell for the extraction of aluminium. Electrolytic cell for the extraction of aluminium. It's look like this one here. The reaction taking place at the electrode are as shown below. The reaction taking place at the electrodes are as shown below. Let us start with the cathode reaction. As I said, the aluminium ion will gain electron and form aluminium metal at the cathode. But at anode reaction, the oxygen gas, the oxygen ion will lose electron and form oxygen gas. So this is the cathode reaction, and this is the anode reaction. Now, aluminium collects at the bottom of the cell in molten state. At the bottom of the cell, the aluminium will be collected in molten state. As you see here in the diagram, this one here is aluminium. Molten aluminium will be collected here. And this is the outlet for aluminium. This is the outlet for aluminium. So the overall equation for the electrolysis of aluminium is as follows. So alumina, which is aluminium oxide, will decompose and form aluminium, and the oxygen gas will decompose by electrolytic method and form aluminium metal and the oxygen gas. Now, refining of crude aluminium. As I said earlier, that the metal which is extracted is impure. Now we are going to refine the crude aluminium which we obtain from what? From the electrolysis process. Now, aluminium obtained is 99% pure. The aluminium obtained is 99% pure. 1%, there is 1% of impurities. So, it contains small quantities of iron, silicon, alumina, and carbon. These are impurities which are contained in crude aluminium. So, crude aluminium is purified further by electrolysis using Hobbs electrolytic cell. We use the Hobbs electrolytic cell to purify the crude aluminium. And the aluminium of about 99.99% pure is obtained. So the aluminium which is obtained there is 99.99% pure. So this is the Hobbes electrolytic cell. As you see here, this is the cell, and this is the inlet for crude aluminum. Once crude aluminum is fed into the Hobbes electrolytic cell, these are cathodes, and this is the anode. We have the anode here, and we have cathodes, and the pure aluminum will move to the cathode. Here, the impurities will remain as molten fluorides. Copper alloy will remain at the bottom, but at the top, or at the top, the pure aluminum will be collected in cathode. So this is the Hobbes electrolytic cell. Hobbes electrolytic cell. Now, uses of aluminium. Uses of aluminium. Aluminium is used for making kitchen vessels such as pots, pans, etc. This aluminium is used for making kitchen vessels. The second, aluminium is used to make moving parts of machine and engines. For example, pistons, cylinders, all those are made by aluminium. Also, aluminium is used for making light objects. For example, parts of aeroplane, railway, train, trucks, buses, cars, and others. Some parts of these are made by aluminium. Another, aluminium is used in overhead tension cable for distribution of electricity. Overhead tension cables for distribution of electricity. Also, aluminium is used for making packing materials for cigarettes, sweets, biscuits, etc., etc. So, the packing materials for cigarette, sweets, biscuits are made by aluminium. So these are some uses of aluminium. These are some uses of aluminium. This point here marks the end of my first presentation of this topic of extraction of metal. You were with me, Teacher Ramadan Hidegesho. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching this video. Goodbye.
Lab Innovation Academy inatangaza nafasi za masomo ya Information Technology kwa ngazi ya certificate na diploma kwa wanafunzi waliomaliza kidato cha 4, kidato cha 6 na chuo NTA Level 3. Chuo kipo Kinondoni Vijana jijini Dar es Salaam. Zaidi ya kusoma, mwanafunzi anapewa nafasi ya kuanzisha mradi wa kiteknolojia pamoja na kupatiwa mentor wa kumwongoza. Pia tunamsaidia mwanafunzi kutafuta scholarships pale anapohitimu. Tupigie leo 0677 071 486 au 0744100231 au tembelea tovuti yetu www.nia.ac.tz.